Between July 2021 and January 2022, police reports show that tens of Kenyans were abducted, tortured and murdered, with their decomposing bodies later discovered in different parts of the country. No words could explain the monstrous killings.
The body had some visible tortures.
Wameuawa kifo ya unyama vibaya sana.
That 5-year-old Peter Mutuku and that 6-year-old Philemon Chepkonyi were victims of the killings.
The chest was red, sponge, and then alikuwa ametoa ulimi like this.
Hatukuwa tukiexpect tunapata bradhangu kwa moka.
Their remains were among 36 bodies retrieved from River Yala.
It looks like they were eliminated somewhere out of the county.
Body inawekwa kwa gunia, inashonwa mzuri.
Some of them are even having their eyes closed.
The families have since buried their kin, and no one seems to be giving Kenyans an answer on the underworld dealing behind the unfortunate killings.
I do miss him every day. I always have sleepless nights.
Bado inatuumizanga sana sana. Ni uchungu.
Haji to come out clearly and tell Kenya why they are killing people in Nairobi and dropping people in River Yala.
Philemon Chepkonyi and Peter Mutuku Kio were all-time friends. The two were born in different areas but would later meet in Nairobi and become business partners. Philemon Chepkonyi, a father of 3, was born and raised in Barisiele, Kericho County. Later, he moved to Nairobi where he ventured in a variety of businesses. Until his death, he owned a mini-mart dealing with householdings along Kangundo Road at Kwamaji in Dandora, Nairobi. Philemon also operated an electronics and an M-Pesa shop within Kware area in Pipeline, Nairobi. He co-owned a wines and spirits shop at Kware in Pipeline, Nairobi. After some time, the two disposed of the shop in Kware, as each one of them focused on separate business ventures. Peter Mutuku Kio, an ex-GSU officer who was based at Ruaka GSU camp, was a father of 3 and hailed from Kangundo, Machakos County. We are told the wines and spirit shop was the epicenter of their friendship. At some point, Chepkonyi, Mutuku and another man identified in court papers as Timothy Kamonde Kaguru were arrested on the 16th and 17th of August 2018. Upon their arrest, Peter Mutuku and then GSU officer was interdicted. They faced charges of robbery with violence and the theft of a lorry estimated at 11 million shillings, which was the property of Narok County government. They were also accused of having stolen a water booth.
Hiyo maneno sasa wali manage kustain manage ile wanalindwa sana, ni watu wenye waaminiki.
During the arrest, the court was told that they had attempted to escape from lawful custody. They were later released on separate bond and the case is pending at a Narok court.
Siku yenye walirudishwa kotini ile kustakiwa, hawa kustaki hawa tena robbery with violence, walistaki hawa conspiracy to commit a felony.
Upon their release, they continued following up on the matter till the 3rd of December 2021, when they disappeared, never to be seen again.
Hatujui saa kama hii maneno ya Yala inatoka kwa hiyo kesi.
Our investigations revealed that Peter Mutuku left his home within Dandora a few minutes to 6 a.m. the same day he disappeared. Philemon Chepkonyi left his house at the same time, driving his motor vehicle, a Toyota Townes K80 The two were in constant communication with another man identified as Edwin Kamanda. Kamanda is a father of 3 and a long-distance truck driver who is still missing. He left his home in Dandora at 5 a.m. the same day. The three met briefly along Kangundo Road for a yet-to-be-established business deal. Kamanda, being a renowned driver, was a close associate to this man, Shedi Shemargat. Shedi Shemargat operates a security company within Komarok in Nairobi. Shedi tells us that Kamanda had approached him a day before he went missing, requesting Shedi to assist him with his motor vehicle so that he could use it to visit his daughter, who is a Form 1 student at a school within Kisii. Shemargat alleges this was not the first time Kamanda borrowed his motor vehicle for family use.
So each time kuniomba gari kwenda, ananiambia naenda academic day, na alikuwa anajitafutia fuel, na obviously alikuwa ananiambia ataenda na arudi. So hakuna venye ningemnyima gari, na sikuwa na hiyo kazi. Gari yangu hiyo siku haikuwa na kazi.
Back home, Commander had told his wife she had assigned him the motor vehicle to drive an identified man to a business meeting in Nakuru. When Commander came to pick the vehicle he had borrowed from Shemargat, he came driving Chepkonye's Toyota car. He then left Chepkonye's car within the premises where Shemargat operated his business and gave him the car keys, saying someone would pick the car from there. Shemargat assumed the car was not in good condition, and that's why Commander did not use it to Kisii. Shemargat knew the car belonged to Chepkonye, an ally of Commander.
Commander alikuwa anaenda shule kuona mtoto wake.
Shemargat then gave Commander his motor vehicle, a Toyota Voxy KCV 466P, and wished him well in the alleged Kisii journey. That was the last time he saw Commander. It is believed Commander joined Chepkonye and Mutuku where he had left them within Komarok along Kangundo Road. They were destined to an unknown location. However, investigators believe their stop was in Nakuru. It's not clear if unknown individuals were on their trail. Police believe they were abducted within the same locality. As sources privy to investigations revealed that their phones were switched off within the same surroundings early that morning. Everything went on normal until family members couldn't reach them on their phones.
That one to me I treated as abnormal. Yeah, because anytime he is always on.
Titus Muasia is a brother to Peter Mutuku. He was the first to smell a rat.
I tried again in the evening. Sikumpata kwa simu. So now hapo ndio nikajua there must be something. So the following day nikampigia tena. The phone did not go through.
The same time Chepkonye and Commander's family were getting disturbed. Commander's wife then reached out to Shemargat to know the whereabouts of her husband.
Ndio hapo nikajua hapa there must be something wrong. Nikaangalia gari kwenye car track. We have got them in our system. Tukaenda tukapata gari kwa Gilgil na imesimama.
After waiting on their loved ones to no avail, they decided to seek redress from the authorities.
Hatukusaidika.
Shemargat will follow suit on attempts to have his motor vehicle back.
Nikaenda Gilgil police station, nikapewa 2 DC officers, wakaenda kwa process gari, na tukapeleka gari police station Gilgil.
The tracking system in the car the three used shows the car left Nairobi a few minutes past 6 a.m. and it arrived in Nakuru at around 8:45 a.m. It then made a U-turn towards Gilgil. After an hour, the car stopped at Gilgil Junction at around 9:28 a.m. Then drove for 2 minutes towards Gilgil Primary School and parked next to BCB Supermarket.
Ndio nikaangalia gari iko wapi aswa. Nikapata iko Gilgil and iko kwa lugha ya tracking tunaitanga static. Imesimama kwa 2 days.
The manager of the supermarket gave a description of the person who parked the car there, which resembled Edwin Commander. He says the man parked the car and walked away to an unknown destination carrying an envelope.
Alikuwa amevaa trouser ya brown ya kaki, jacket ya black na kofia. Na hivyo ndio my husband alikuwa amevaa.
The car was traced, processed and detained by detectives. Later on, it was handed over to the owner after a thorough investigation.
Mimi hata nilikuwa nafikiria kama ni kukua carjacked, hatungepata gari. Au the guys wenye alikuwa na drive maybe walikuwa na beef na mtu. Sijui, mimi tu kitu yenye nasema tu ni maybe Edo alikuwa the wrong place.
It is not clear what happened next as Edwin Commander has remained untraced.
I always have sleepless nights. Nikijuliza if he's alive, anapitia nini, anapitia torture gani? If he's dead, body yake iko wapi?
Days and weeks passed as the whereabouts of the three remained a mystery to both families and the state.
Tukakuwa tuko na hope ya kujua ati tutamuona.
And the state. During this period, a series of disturbing events started unfolding in River Yala.
OCS ananipigia saa kidogo, deputy yake ananipigia kite, iko mtu ameripoti hapa ati ameona mwili kwa daraja huko, ama ameona mwili karibu na shamba yake pale.
You hear 2 have been found, 3 have been found. I remember talking to the OCPD Yala, and he told me the morgue was getting full.
Bodies of human beings were being found floating in the river.
The 2 which were found in the sack somewhere called Dao, the 2 of them were headless, but their heads were also fixed in the gunia there in the gunia.
This went on for months as authorities remained unbothered until human rights activists got wind of the strange unfoldings.
Tukatoa mwili karibu 6 tena. Nikatoa wakiona, nikitoa kwa mawe hapo. Mili 6 tena. Ukiongeza hapo, sasa utajua ni ngapi? 36.
no one has claimed or no one has reported that mtu yetu alipotea. Yeah, so they are definitely not from this area.
These bodies are actually dumped by individuals who remain so far unknown.
The whole community was taken back in shock.
Bridge kuna moja tulipata kamba kale tupo asubuhi. Ilikuwa fresh kabisa. Na kale ilikuwa moriori hivi.
It's amazing. We don't really understand the whole phenomenon.
Yala flows downstream across several counties, among them Nandi, Vihiga, Kakamega and Siaya into Lake Kanyaboli and then Lake Victoria.
Watu wako wengi kwa maji. Tukisaidiana na maaskari bado tutapata watu wengi kwa maji.
What could be the reason as to why just Yala and at this point in time?
Historically, the river is a resource of water for the surrounding community and a tourist attraction site. But toward the end of the year 2021, it was in the news for the wrong reasons.
Tunatumia maji kwa kunywa, mpaka sasa hii maji imelokewa, haingii kwa area, maji imeisha kabisa.
Locals here do say they have been seeing an increase in number of bodies streamed down the river Yala, but their concern is more of a security threat. The reason is who is doing this and why.
There used to be bodies, but not to the magnitude as at now.
The dumping of the body is said to have been taking place in the wee hours of the night.
They are big vehicles. Now when you talk of big vehicles here, they are the TX, the double cabins. They come sometimes late in the evening. Another one was seen around midday. Inasimama inaangusha body na inaenda.
How come these vehicles that are dumping bodies have never been caught?
Hii ni mguu ya mtu yenye imeozewa hapo. So nimegwamilia hapo kwa mawe.
Samson Odinga is a gold miner along River Yala.
Huwa tunaweza ona bagi ikipita ama gunia imefungwa mwili ya mtu ndani. Kama yenye imeoza unaona tu mahindi kama zinafuata juu, lakini inateremka tu na mostly huwa tunaonanga asubuhi.
He says most of the bodies were discovered knitted in sacks and floating in the river along this bridge that separates River Yala and the busy Kisumu-Busia road.
Hata kuna juzi ingine ilipita tukienda na ule jamaa tukadhani ni kushike tukakuta ni mwili ya mtu, tukaacha tena ikateremka. Ilikuwa mpya.
Other bodies were a few meters from here stretching to Ndano Falls.
Huwa tunatoa mwili tunajua ni ya nani. Sasa ukitoa mwili ya mtu unajua wangu utalipwa. Unajua ukitoa lazima uende tena umeza madawa za kienyeji na hiyo madawa unanunua.
The miners say an increase in the number of floating bodies caught them by surprise.
Tulikuwa ungekuja hata usipanda kazi unaona tusikipita. Hata inaweza kuna siku zilipita kama ilikuwa lini? Zilipita 3 kama zimefuatana tu. Hii inapita ingine inapita. Iko kwa bag different.
Ukitaka kufanya kazi unapata umekutana na mwenzako na amekufa. Sasa hakuna vile utafanya kazi yako na hapo hapo. Sababu hata mwingine ndio unaona hapo hapo. Hatukuwa tumejua.
Walter Omindo is a site manager for a proposed hydraulic power project along River Yala.
Probably are being killed somewhere else, but not very far from this place.
But why were all the bodies discovered at this point?
The geography of the river around that Yala area makes those bodies, they get dropped.
Below the waterfall there are rocks. So that's why they come and then get stuck in the rocks.
The bizarre happenings have left him disturbed, just like Nicholas Okite, the diver who retrieved the 36 bodies.
Na nilitoa hapa kama watu wanakimbia ati mimi ndio nabaki nayo wawili hivi. Nikifurutana naye nikiingiza kwa Land Cruiser ya serikali. Na umejua saa hiyo sasa imeyeyuka. Ni kitu ukitoa ni kama uji bwana. Watu wanakimbia wote. Sio binadamu, unaona tu meno yote imebaki nje.
Okite says unlike previous years where he could retrieve only one body after several months, at the end of last year events have turned horrific.
Nimeanza kutoa tu watu double 2, amalizi wiki 2, tena 1, amalizi wiki 2, tena 2. Na tena sasa zinakuja na tabia nyingine, unapata mwili imefungwa kichwa na polythene.
Amazingly, most of the bodies had a symbolic and a funny character.
Body inawekwa kwa gunia, inashonwa mzuri. Unaweza pata mahali unapata body kama 5 ile iko kwa gunia. Kwa kila gunia ni body, kwa kila gunia ni body.
Ukifungua hiyo sack, you find a human body mutilated, zingine ziko decomposed.
The news became a norm and no one was being arrested.
The individuals who are doing this, how come they remain unknown?
Months later, Okite became a possible target for crucifixion.
Vitisho ile naona mimi ndio najua kwa roho yangu.
Authorities allege that he knew something about the bodies.
Kitu maajabu, mimi tangu hii kitu yanzwe sijalala kwa nyumba, niko na wasiwasi kubwa.
He was also accused to have been hiding parts of the bodies in the river so that he be paid each and every time he could retrieve a piece.
Hiyo ni uongo, ni uongo kubwa.
He was later to be arrested and charged for interfering with dead bodies.
Uwezi ficha yeye aoze hapo na aishi hapo. Unafikiria akuoni? Anakuona. Mimi tangu nianze hii kazi hakuna siku nimejaribu kuficha mwili.
According to him, all these were premeditated murders by unknown killers.
Lazima upate majira, lazima upate alifungwa na kamba ama amenyongwa na kamba. Sasa hiyo huwezi sema mtu aliteleza akaingia kwa maji.
Father Clement is the parish priest at St. Peter Clavers, Yala.
People are now not concerned. Oh, there's another one there. There's another one there.
He was among the first responders when this news hit Yala.
Forthcoming electioneering period, we don't know how much people would be careless on human life. And if they've seen this, I was trying to say, oh, that might even result into lack of human sanctity. Someone, the people around here seeing the bodies, they will just say, ah, so human life is nothing.
The priest is worried on why the local community around Yala remained silent with regards to the unfortunate happenings.
But they are reaching a point that now they are not, they see bodies like any other thing.
To him, this was an opportunity for the church to pray for the repose of the souls of the dead, the killers and the affected families.
That those people also can be touched and find that they are killing human lives, and they can also hear the voice of Christ. Why are you killing my people? For sure, they couldn't be suicide cases, because some of them, I don't see how someone could chop off his head and still go and drop himself in the waters.
As the Yala bodies news made headlines, families of missing persons in Kenya started making their way to Yala mortuary. To some, their journey was nowhere near over. To others, it was a tragic end of their long search for their loved ones. Families of Peter Mutuku and Philemon Chepkonyi confirmed their worst fears. Bodies of their kins were lying at the Yala mortuary in a deplorable condition. Chepkonyi's body was booked at the morgue on 4th December 2021, in less than 24 hours of his disappearance.
Niliona mwili yake na alipigwa hiyo kutezwa na tuacha tu na maswali.
The body had been retrieved from River Yala.
Disai wakakuja tukaenda Ndanu, tukapata mwili moja kwanza hiyo bridge ya kuingia Jina Ndanu Falls. Tukaenda hapo chini tukapata yule amekwama kwa katikati ya mamawe na yule alikuwa ameoza kabisa. Baadaye tukateremka hivi na Ukite tukapata moja amekwama kwa mawe, katikati ya mawe, maji napita chini hivi.
His body had signs of serious torture and strangulation.
Alikongwa kichwa, hata inaonekana paka saa hii. Na tata nili-identify alikuwa na majeraha kwa tumbo, kama alidungwa na kitu kubwa kama wilspana. Alafu hiyo kufura kwa shingo inaonekana ni kama alinyongwa na kitu ingine, kitu kama waya.
The family was hard hit.
Imetushinda, hatujui nini kina gani, tumeregret.
They are now making some serious allegations.
Watu wametoka Nairobi mpaka wanatupwa hapa Yala. That is a government.
They however have no idea on the possible motive behind the brutal murder of their kin and how his killers could abduct him in Nairobi, only for his body to be discovered miles apart.
Another question tunajiuliza, mbona hii mwili zote 24 ilipatikana kwa mtu the same Yala?
Irene Chepkonyi is the wife to Philemon Chepkonyi.
Kwa chungu sana.
The widow has been left behind with 3 children.
Tunataka haki itendeke.
Francis Chepkonyi is the father to the deceased.
Mimi nalia kwa mtoto yangu. So naona miti imekauka. Mimi nakaanga. Baada saa hii nangojea mtoto yangu iko na gari. Nangojea yeye aingie nyumbani aingie.
The old man is unwell and his son has been responsible for his medication.
Hii mtoto sijui alikuwa na bilioni ya pesa. alafu napelekwa huko. Si angeua Nairobi na kutupa hapo.
Philemon has since been buried and the family has been left in pursuit of gathering justice.
Aya, mimi na nyamaza. Yala alipita hapa nyumbani kwa sababu hakuna jangina ni nasema hiyo mtu aliua mtoto yangu, alitia mtoto mwingine.
Peter Mtuku's body was retrieved from River Yala on the 5th of December 2021, a day after Philemon's body was retrieved from the same river.
The killers killed him like immediately.
The two are said to have been together at the time of their abduction, before they got killed suspiciously.
I think should be classified as an extrajudicial killing. If it was one person, then that one could be different, but 20 plus.
Mtuku's family arrived at Yala mortuary to confirm their worst fears. Their encounter with the body was traumatizing.
Alikuwa amepigwa with a blunt object at his side of the forehead. Hii mkono ilikuwa imevunjika somewhere here. The chest was red. This point. Alikuwa ametoa ulimi like this, so kumaanisha alikuwa amenyongwa. This point.
This family has questions similar to Chepkonye's family.
A person like me will not kill somebody in Kangundo or in Tala or in Machakos and dump the body 400 plus kilometers away.
Kama sisi kutoka Kericho tunapata road checks mingi. Hata leo tumepita road checks karibu more than 20.
Peter Mtuku's mother vividly remembers how she learned of the happenings at Yala.
Nikiwa jikoni nikasikia ati kuna mili imepatikana Yala, 23 bodies zikiwa ziko kwa maji. Nikakimbia, hata mimi mwenyewe nikaangalia, nikasema oh my god, hawa ni watoto wa watu jameni, wako kwa maji. Kumbe hata mimi nikipika hivyo siku anajua kama wangu anaweza patikana pale.
The family is yet to recover.
Kwa familia tunakaa, kila mtu ana raise question yenye haina majibu.
All they want is closure.
Justice delayed is justice denied.
That someone comes forward to explain the mystery behind Yala killings.
Kitu kinaweza kuwa kinaendelea ya kuua watu wanyama na kiunyama namna hiyo ni kitu ambapo kinaletea wasasi shida kubwa zaidi. Hatujui sasa hiyo ni sheria namba gapi.
As the peculiar discoveries troubled the nation, pressure was mounting on the state of security within the country.
The question we are asking, do we have a government in place?
A team of homicide detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigation under the command of Martin Nyaguto was immediately dispatched to Yala. It comprised experts from forensic units, the government chemists, counselors, pathologists and scenes of crime investigators, among others.
But we expect at the end of the day a report which is comprehensive and which will try to give us some kind of leads for us to move forward.
In the short life of Parliament that is left, we may demand an inquiry by relevant committees in both houses of Parliament so that the authorities can be brought to the relevant committees and reports made to both houses.
We are here for DNA profiling, which was key on body identification and investigation.
I asked the government, let's do DNA at birth. It would also help us identify criminals within our midst.
Detectives also took statements from key witnesses and family members before analyzing general security preparedness in the area.
Get into this. The number of bodies that are being discovered on a regular basis cannot be something which is beyond the capacity of government to find out who is responsible, not just for the dumping, but more critically, the lives which are being lost.
Before the process began, affected families were taken through guiding and counseling sessions. The government pathologist also conducted an autopsy on most of the bodies.
Their state, some of them are very decomposed in that they are just skeletons. Some are flesh which is decomposed, but there are 3 which we found which are very fresh.
From July 2021, the number of bodies retrieved from River Yala is 36. As at now, we still have 26 bodies here at Yala Sub-County Mortuary, awaiting the investigation process to be complete so that they can be collected by their loved ones for burial preparations.
Out of the 36 adult bodies recovered, 10 were earlier on collected for burial before the news got viral. Later on, 2 other bodies were released to their families and 24 were left at the Yala mortuary which only has a capacity of preserving 16 bodies. Among the 24 bodies at the mortuary, 4 others were identified on Monday after their DNA profiles matched with samples collected from families, bringing to 6 total number of bodies identified out of the 26. Identified bodies are of George Ambongo, Eric Omeno, Margaret Atieno and Titus Lisutha, plus 2 others identified earlier. The victims disappeared in the months of August and September last year. Titus Lisutha disappeared on the 16th of September 2021 while he was in the company of unknown people in a private car en route Nakuru. The car was traced dumped in Gilgil and his body in River Yala. The medical superintendent at Yala confirmed 3 of the total bodies were skeletons. Only 2 of the bodies were of the female gender.
What I would request is that a very independent investigation.
Both the pathologists and investigators' reports are yet to be made public, even as the government distances itself from the killing.
The police, because we are a law enforcement agency, should do that. So when we have those powers of doing that, and locking you in, and I've just told you that prisons are full, remand homes are full, because of our actions across the country. So why would you want to kill you?
The DCI also distanced itself from threatening Okite, but said in the future if an opportunity need comes, the diver might be considered.
Kazi yangu ni kutoa maiti kwa maji. Na natoa maiti na vitisho. Siongee juu ya Mungu.
Among things investigators are looking at is what might have been the motive for the killings before going for suspects.
I want to be very frank with Kenya that it may take some time, because the experts have to sit down and do their report first of all and then hand it over now to the other team of the DCI, forensic experts again in terms of investigation.
They have also promised to investigate if the state had a hand or if the killings were a result of crafty business dealings.
For those people who sit outside there, they talk police, police, police. I think they should be more brave enough to come up with a better theory.
A case of robbery with violence the 2 victims were accused of will be a matter of concern too.
Tunajiuliza maswali. Philemon sasa alikuwa mtu wa aina gani mpaka alipotea hivyo akawawa, hiyo process ya kinyama.
These are people without criminal record, or some of them, meaning when they did something wrong, police took them to the criminal justice system as it's supposed to be. And then later on, they are found murdered in some very crazy ways. So what's happening here?
Families we spoke to alleged people who were mentioned in that case have been eliminated one by one.
Walikuwa watu 13. Kulikuwa na walistaki driver ya lori, kulikuwa na wasichana 3 na kuna askari mwingine alikuwa Karisa kwa kitwa Diongo. Alitokaga akiwa bond lakini hakumaliza mwezi akawawa.
Meshak Chepkonyi tells us that an ex-police officer only identified as Ndiongo was the last victim of these abductions and killings before his brother became the target.
Haijawahi julikana nani aliua Ndiongo na aliua kwa ajili gani.
We reached out to Ndiongo's family through his wife, who warned us against linking her husband's murder to the Yala killings. Ndiongo was a police officer based at Garissa and an associate of Mutuku and Chepkonyi. He was abducted and his body discovered at Machakos mortuary some times back.
As when you have a problem with somebody who is in court with the law, you take them to court, as you can see from the criminal record.
Also, the whereabouts of 2 mechanics who operated a garage in Kariobangi are not known according to Meshak Chepkonyi. They were mentioned in the investigations of the robbery with violence case Mutuku and Chepkonyi faced.
There seems to be now a kind of a syndicate, yeah, part of the underworld, part of the criminal enterprise, which seems to be organized and behind this.
You'll remember Edwin Kamanda is still missing.
Kama ako uhai akam home, na kama yuko uhai bodi yake tu ipatikane. Cause watu wangu wanashinda wakiniuliza dada kwa wapi.
On the other side of the coin, families of the killed victims are heartbroken. They believe these were extrajudicial killings and have faint hope that justice will be served.
The families who lost their loved ones, we feel their pain too, and we just want to reassure them that as National Police Service, we shall work with them, trying to unravel all this unfortunate situation that is unfolding in Yala, There's nothing we want to hide. We want to be very open, and whatever we get, we shall be able to share with them. And for them, again, we want them to have that confidence that you are working for their good and for their better interest. So if they have any information, again, they should always reach out to us.
The government is, however, absolving itself from the incidents, warning Kenyans against speculations on the deaths.
If you want to say is a police officer involved, come forward and tell us why you think so. If you feel you cannot talk to us, then go to IPOA.
We demand that a full investigation be undertaken, and those circumstances be explained to the people because they need to know.
It's also urged anyone with crucial information to serve it to them, and claim bodies are still at the Yala mortuary awaiting identification amid fears that more bodies might be trapped in the river. Franklin Yala for the Crime Beat.